Okay, so uh, hello everyone. Uh, I'm Louis. With me is Kyle. And this is our first attempt at the Ash Neutral podcast, a podcast for Filipino Dromai players, but hopefully can be enjoyed by all Dromai players around the world. So, how are you doing, Kyle?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Tired, but fine.
Yeah, me too. So, we figured it's the best time to record the podcast because Calling Taiwan just finished, and it's an event that we were both supposed to attend. Supposed to because Kyle
Yeah,
got a last minute.
supposed to.
Yeah,
Uh, I got caught up in work, and yeah, I've been planning to, but yeah, work is much more important, I guess, in this time of the year.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so we'll just be discussing three small topics, which we hopefully will be expanding more on in future episodes. Uh, Hopefully, with the third member, Christian, available by then. Um, yeah. So, first off, we need to say our congratulations to the champion of the calling, who is, I wouldn't say a close friend, yeah, but also from the Philippines, Justin, who
An
played,
acquaintance.
yes, an acquaintance, yes. Justin, who played Azelea. I was there watching the match, parts of it, because I was still in the middle of a sealed event. So I wasn't able to watch it completely. I have yet to watch the video properly to review because I would like to take notes on to how to properly play Dromai. But yes, so Azelea defeated Dromai, which is quite a
Yeah.
interesting turn of events.
As a teammate of Justin, I want to congratulate him. And as they say, the butcher get got butchered because Nick Butcher got defeated by Justin. And for a player that started only this year, it's a huge milestone for that player. So
Yeah,
congratulations
he
to him.
started even earlier than I did because I started in December and he started I believe in May. So
Yeah,
for a
May,
player,
April, May.
yeah.
Yeah,
So for a player that's only been playing a couple of months, such a spectacular achievement. So I think what the most interesting thing for
yeah.
us with the Justin matchup, with Justin's win is going into the calling. The more commonly held belief by most people, including most Dromai players, is that Dromai is at a big advantage against Azalea. Uh, Although when some Dromai players locally do ask me about it, I was in the camp of like, oh, we're heavily favored until I started running across players who ran Azalea deck similar to what Justin was using. Although I know that Justin's is more refined because even then the Azaleas that I were playing against that had E-Strikes, Ravenous Rabble to deal with dragon clearing. Uh, the match was close, but I did not feel like it was something that we could not still win. Uh, However, Justin's list just uh, I'm not sure if it's just Justin's list or just the way that Justin plays because he when talking to him, he does have a very good understanding of the Azalea Dromai matchup. He knows exactly when to clear dragons. He knows exactly when to.
I think, yeah, yes, yes. I think the list is common amongst the Azalea players. If you look into their Discord channel, there's a common line of deck lists that they have been running. Only one to two cards are off of each list. And I think with the mentorship of Levi Rauch to Justin, Justin made it to the top eight, and apparently he won the deck. He won with the deck.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So one of the things that we were uh, talking about with Christian was so since Justin won with Azelea, should we as Dromai players be expecting more Azelea players to try and recreate Justin's success in ProQuest? What do you think about that, Kyle?
For me, I can compare Azalea with Dromai, in which it's skill based. It's a strong
Mm,
deck, yes, but it takes a lot of practice to master. And I think it will have a fair share of percentage in terms of player base and usage. But I don't think it will be the same as Lexi, because Lexi is kind of an easy deck to play, and it's a polar opposite when it is compared to Azalea. So
yes, yeah.
I think there will be more players who will be bringing Azalea, but not so much.
Mm. And then this was the other thing that we were talking about in our group chat was that I do predict that there will be a spike, not maybe not a whole lot, but there will be more of Azalea players. But remember what I told you guys. But it's not something that we should worry about because I don't think they're as good as Justin. And if they're not in complete
Mm,
mastery of the deck and how to play against Droma using that deck, we will probably still come out with a big advantage on that one.
yeah,
So
you still
yeah,
have the element of surprise.
exactly. So yeah, for the draw my players out there in the Philippines, there's a lot of us, I know. Yes, be prepared for more of them. Don't be too scared, but also don't be too overconfident. That's one of the mistakes the worst mistakes we can make is to underestimate the opponent just because the matchup is favored towards us. I can personally account for several games in where I assumed I would have the advantage because it's a favored matchup, and then the opponent just completely blew me out of the water. So yeah, just be prepared, do your homework, find out the lines that the Azalea players take, and just be prepared, basically.
So Lucy, as a bonus question, do we really need to main board in the reacts in
Uh, okay, so this is the
hopes
thing.
for a better Azalea matchup or no?
Main board, I don't think so. Because the butcher's list when he was fighting Justin, he was running a total of 8 defensive, purely defensive cards. So that's 3 Fate for Scenes, 3 Sink Belows, uh,
Two
and
sand covers.
sand covers. Yes. As well as 2 sigils, 2 sand covers and then 2 sigils of solace, if I remember the list correctly, or if it's 3 sand covers. But either case, uh, yes, we will need. I don't think we should main board it, but when you do fight an Azalea, it would be a wise decision to bring as many D reacts as you can in your list because yeah, the D reacts are what's gonna save you from a dead turn with a red in the with an early red in the ledger. I was actually saying
Yes, that's true.
yeah to the guys that were watching the match who were before Justin started this match, they started asking me, so what do you think are Justin's chances? Is it like an easy win? Is it like cause you know I was the draw my player that they were asking there. So I said, if Justin can get his red in the ledgers out early and the Dromai isn't able to fully block a dominated red in the ledger early without a board setup, then Justin might just run away with it. If the drama is able to set up a little bit, it's still recoverable, which is what technically happened. There were times that there were 2 to 3 dragons, which isn't a full flood yet, and Justin was able to
Yes.
clear, and that's what I was telling about. knowing exactly when to clear dragons and when to just go for the face. That's one of the key decisions that the Azalea players need to learn and master against Dromai. Because sometimes I'd seen some Azalea players that would just fire one arrow at a single dragon, and that leaves you like the Dromai with a full card hand just to flood or to do a clap back straight to their face. Justin was doing it perfectly. Just as when the scales of the amount of dragons would be uncontrollable is about to tip, he manages to clear and then next turn shoot again to the face. So it was very good, very well played by Justin. But going back to your question, not main board,
Yeah.
but
And
yes,
if I
bring the
if
reacts when you fight
okay.
an Azalea.
And did you also saw the list of Nick Butcher? He's mainboarding Warmonger's diplomacy. What
Hmm.
can you say about that?
Ah, well, Warmongers is a good way to to throw the Azalea off balance. Justin did say that during the last few turns of his match, he was very worried that Nick would just play a Warmonger's diplomacy and would just shut him down and give Nick the breathing room to pump out the dragons and begin the basically start to shift the advantage. Uh I'm not sure if you should bring all three. It is a three block, it is a blue, so it's good for pitching. But you don't really need the pitch that much anymore with the tome tech that we have right now. Maybe if you're gonna bring diplomacy, one to two, in my opinion, might be enough. Three if you want to do early disruption and a late game disruption as well. But it is a tech that the Azalea players are pretty much have to play around. So if they know that you have it, it makes their decision making it more what's the word I'm looking for? Uh stressful because they always have to assume what if it pops, if they drop it, what if they play it.
But the thing is, if you remember their match, Nick played the Warmongers, but it didn't fade uh, Justin. He played a Ravenous Rabble into CNC. So
Yeah, that's the other thing. Then that's the other
I
thing as
think
well with Warmongers.
it didn't really
It's not
matter for
a
that matchup.
yeah, with the set with the Azalea lists right now,
It's at a full
it's
lock.
still yeah, it's still a hit or miss. It's still a hit or miss because if Nick played it at the time when Justin had pumps and arrow, then yeah, that would have probably like stalled Justin for a turn. But he played it at the time when Justin had all attacks, so it's like okay, war it is.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's the
So
same way as when
I'm
people
not
said
really
that.
sold.
Yeah, go on, go on.
I'm not really sold on Warmongers in Dromai because yes, you can pretty much set up your board state, but you can't swing with it on the turn you played the Warmongers.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. And in my opinion, setting up board state right now for with the tome tech, it's board setup is not too much of a problem. If there are games I've had where I was like, opponent cleared board,
yeah.
okay, and then on my turn it's like, okay, I have a tome in my arsenal. I have a four card hand. Let's play tome and see which one I can play. It's like so from zero dragons, exactly the next turn, tome into a Mirigai, into a Yendorai, into a and then no Tome into a Tome, pitch to flame scales. I have three floating into a Mirigai, into a Yendorai, into a Ravenous Rabble, into a Rake the Embers. So it's like from zero dragons, I suddenly have like five dragons. One of them hits for three, which you can't pop because of Mirigai. It's like it's ridiculous right now. It's like board setup isn't really an issue. We still play the same old slow board setup, but then you have the tome to do a sudden explosive turn of like, congratulations, you've cleared my board. Here's more.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So is there
so
anything else you'd want to discuss about the uh, Azelea Dromai
I
matchup?
just I just commend Justin's ability to clear the dragons.
At the
I mean,
exact right
he's
time.
using
That's
bolt and shots.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I know that
so good.
Azalea lists can clear dragons now, but he's doing it at the exact time when the Dromai is about when the balance is about to shift towards the Dromai's advantage. That another dragon or another rake will make clearing it like okay, you clear it, but there's still one more left on my turn, and I can just keep flooding and flooding and flooding. He clears it the exact time in where okay, the Dromai will then have to put down maybe one can be able to put down one dragon at a turn. Next turn maybe two, and then he'd shoot for the face, and the Dromai would have to block, and then those two dragons are just gonna stay there. That's all. Yeah, it's his timing of where his game state sense of when exactly when to clear is just spot on.
Yeah, and also the timing of the codex. The two back-to-back codices in
Yeah,
the last few turns is so brutal for Nick.
yeah. But yeah, so again,
So
Justin, congratulations, champ.
yeah,
Very well done, very well
congratulations,
earned.
Cap.
Okay, so next topic
Yes.
is we already started to discuss this. We have a new card, which is Tome. Uh, for those of you who don't know, I only actually started playing with Tome around 3 days before flying off to the calling. So I barely had any practice. I had like three face-to-face games with the Tome tech, and my sideboard was not yet complete. Basically, my deck going into the calling was like still raw. Uh, but so the Tome. What we'll start with your
Yeah,
impressions before I give my
experimental, as they
impression.
would say.
Yeah, yeah. Let's start with your impressions of the Tome since you've played a couple of games with it. Before I go into my impression based on what I've played in the calling and the draw my players there who I've played against and watched in the calling.
This may be a hot take, but it's a good card, yes, but it's often a liability than a good card for me because it's a non-block. It can power up good turns and pretty decent turns uh, against the ninjas matchup and your other worst matchup. But yeah, in in some sense, it's a very powerful card that when you go off with a big dragon, then two smaller dragons. But in my play testing, it's a bit underwhelming, I suppose. But
Okay.
I do need more testing.
Yep. Okay.
But in my play testing, it's often a liability because it's as I've said, it's a non-block.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Exactly. Yeah. That is something that I experienced. There have been many a games that I was playing in the calling in where in late game the tome that I pitched because I got another tome early. I got two tomes in a draw. Comes back to bite me in the ass when I need to block. So yes, I agree that it can be
Yes.
a liability. And unlike because the card that I swapped that I removed from the deck to make space for the tome was Sigil of Solace because Sigil is also a non-block. However, unlike Sigil of Solace, Sigil gives me 3 lives. So even if I can't block, those instances that it's not really an on hit, I just
Yes.
need the extra life, I can still play the Sigil as an instant to quote unquote block. Uh,
Yes. As an extra note, I might not know how to play the tome right now very well, or the timing when to play the tome. But I guess with a few more practices, I coming this pre ProQuest season, I might know
yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really
Uh,
know.
yeah. So far, what I've experienced, this is just all still theory craft because I have played a bit more games with the Tome and a more refined list by Sunday when I was doing side events. My list was far more refined than when I started in Friday side events. Uh, but the play pattern I'm seeing with Tome is when pitch stacking it really isn't a good idea unless it's because you drew two tomes on the on the exact same on the exact same hand, or you
Yes,
have a tome in
yes,
arsenal and then you drew another tome. That's the only time you would pitch stack the tome. But otherwise, when you get it, you play it because even if you're not sure if you're gonna be able to fully utilize the resources that you're gonna get, the two to three resources you're gonna get with the cards you have in hand. Because in my experience, it's happened so many times. It's like, okay, I'll play Tome, and all I have in hand is I have a two card hand. One is two card hand. One is Tome. The other is a 1 for 3 attack action, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll just play Tome because it's like otherwise if I use it to pitch, I might get it later when I need to block, so I might as well just play it now. And then when I draw for two, I draw like a 2 to 3 cost card, like either a Ovia, a Necria, or a Vincerakai. And suddenly my crappy 2 card hand becomes like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a big swing back then, or a big board setup with a Necria or an Ovia. So in my opinion, uh, in certain instances, particularly when you have two tomes available for you, then yes, you pitch the tome. But otherwise, when you get the tome, even if it feels like it's a suboptimal play to use the tome, just play the tome because that I think that's one of the things that few of the Philippine Dromai players can understand. It's like the power of the filtering of getting two cards and then choosing which of those cards left in your hand you're going to
yeah,
pitch is such a powerful hand fixer. It's like I've had some games where it's like it's gonna be a crappy swing back turn, and then it suddenly becomes like, oh, okay, I'll put down an Ovia and an Ashwing. Now I have a board threat, and then they have to spend attacks to clear the Ovia, and then it swings the momentum to my end. It's such a powerful thing. I think that's where the power of the tome really lies. It's the two ash is great. The 2 to 3 resources is spectacular, but that power to filter your hand and convert from a bad hand to a good hand or from a good hand to a great hand is just it's so good. It's so good.
yeah. And also in my play testing, when I drew a tome from a tome, I prefer firing the second tome. Uh,
Yeah. I
be-
haven't done that. I've always tried to pitch stack it because maybe it's me trying to think that I guess conditionally you can do that. Pitch stack the tome with like say a Vincerakai so that on your second cycle you have a combo of tome into Vincerakai. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. That it's like if you don't really see anything else nice in your hand, fire up the tome again and like let's go. Let's look for
yes. Yeah. Good good target. You still have the gold token to crack, and you can still
mm,
turn through your deck and probably find a threat that you can play for that turn. I just don't really like pitch stacking the tome to the end game board state because if you drew the two tomes and you need to block because you're at one, you're you're dead.
you're screwed. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I guess it also depends on how much of a gambler you are. Because, like I said, it's like a sudden end game tome into Vincerakai is like when the life totals are single digits already. That's that's a tempo swing. That's a guaranteed tempo swing to you. But then again, if you get this hand and it's your opponent swinging hard and you need to block for survival, yeah, it'll hurt. I guess it also depends on how
Yeah. Go.
how much of a gambler you are.
This goes into the debate that there's no more Empress Dromai or hybrid Dromai. There's only Dromai right
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah.
as
Justin
they
and I were actually
were
talking
saying.
about this.
Because
That it,
yeah, go
yeah,
go on.
that we were discussing because we were discussing about what I thought about is Tome really that powerful? And basically we went like, okay, so the thing is, before Tome, there would always be uh three main archetypes of Dromai. You have the red line, which is the Empress red line. You have the big dragons. Then you have the hybrid. And the reason that Dromai deck tech doesn't really progress or it was a discussion about how the Dromai Discord is so different from the Azelea Discord, in where the Dromai Discord, there's a lot of debate and discussion, which is the correct option, which is the correct, what's the best play, what's the best build, so
What's
on
the
and so
best
forth.
list?
Yeah. And I'm like, because right now, before pre-tome, there was no best list. All three lists are viable. And Justin then went, and it's only Mara Faris that everyone listens to. It's because Mara Faris made it to top 8 as a Dromai in a very, very big event. So, her words carry weight. But everyone else has their own opinion of like, this is my Dromai. It works for me. And this is, in my opinion, this is how it should be played. However, with the tome being, it merges all three lists. It merges all three archetypes into just Dromai. So I'm looking forward to because honestly, I don't think we've fully cracked the tome tech yet. There's still a lot of lines
Yeah.
that we're not seeing, a lot of other possible uses that's like we have not even thought of yet. So I am
And
very
I don't
excited.
even know. Yeah, sorry. And I don't even know how the new current Dromai list will pair against Icelander,
I
because
have an
we're
answer
back
for
to
that.
running. We're back to running
No,
already.
I have an answer for that. This is
What?
also while talking to the Icelander, the Philippine representation of Icelanders, and the Icelander matchups I've played during the calling. At first, I remember I told you I am so afraid of Icelander matchups because we've gotten weaker because we can't bring in as many blues because we're reserving our blues to just like for the tome. But in actuality, this is also why I loved being in the calling. I saw the other Dromai players play against Icelander using the tome. What they do is they open up with the tome because even if Icelander responds to you, it's like if it's an arcane damage, unless it's lethal, okay, I'll take it. Frostbite, okay. Tome resolves, I pitch two, I already have two to pay for your frostbite and whatever else I'm gonna do. It screws up the math of the Icelander a little bit. It's according to EJ and the other Filipino Icelander players I've played again. I'm sure they'll eventually figure it out, but right now, until they figure it out, playing Tome first tends to skew their math of like when they can frostbite. Should I do this? Should I do that? It's actually very interesting because it seems so counterintuitive that you would play Tome as an opener, but it actually does work because I play Tome even if I don't play. I can. It gives me the option of like Tome resolves, Frostbite is there. I can then now choose to play more cards from my hand, or I can then just okay. So it starts out in this way. You play Tome. They're most likely gonna play if they play a response card, an ice card in response to give you a frostbite. If they deal damage to you, fine, you take the damage. But then in my experience, they don't immediately fire off Waning Moon because you still have cards in your hand. Which if they throw Waning Moon, you can pitch. And let's say if you have two cards in your hand, you can pitch to prevent the damage from Waning Moon, taking only taking only one. But then you still have the resources. If they say, then you still have the resources from the Tome to get through the Frostbite and attack them. If they play Channel Lake Frigid and then Waning Moon, you do the same thing. You prevent Tome resolves. You have four. You have four red in your pitch stack. You pay the two to trigger flame scale, and you have four resources. And your dragons on board. You have if you have four dragons on board, all four can attack. So it was interesting to see the Icelanders like tell me now you play Tome first. It it's a headache for us to think how for us when you play Tome first.
But I think the Dromai players won't be thinking about Icelander that much because
Yeah,
Icelander will be is nearing the living legend status right now.
yeah. She's close. She's close. Let's hope that she does graduate so we don't really
Yes.
have to worry about her anymore. But even if she doesn't living legend before ProQuest, definite before ProQuest, yeah, I think we're still in a good spot against Icelander. With the Tome tech, it's interesting. I thought Icelander would be my worst matchup, but Icelander turned out to be an okay matchup with the Tome so far.
So my next question will be, how does Tome pair up against our worst class matchup, which is ninjas?
Honestly, it gives us a better chance. It's still a little skewed. It's still not favored or it's not equal, but it's better. It's so much better now because you can because the matchup with the ninja has always just been race and smart blocking. I will bring down a dragon, I will swing it at you, and then whatever attack actions I have left, I will also swing at you. And then on your turn, you're gonna hit me. I'm gonna try to prevent too much damage by smart blocking the mask of momentum trigger, etc., etc. But to be able to catch up to the ninja, to be able to even keep pace with the ninja, you need to have the right cards at the right time so you can deal as much damage. Because you just accept it. When you're fighting a ninja, damage will leak because you can't block everything. If you try to block everything, Mask of Momentum will eventually trigger and he's gonna deal more damage. So you try to do the smart blocking, but damage will leak. So to be able to catch up, you need when they deal 5 damage to you, you need to be able to swing at least 5 damage back of like E-Strike, go again with a Ravenous Rabble. But the problem is sometimes you don't have that card. You don't have that, or if you do, it's in the form of dragons, which is bad because if you put too many dragons on the board, they're gonna kill it, trigger Mask of Momentum, and still have and still have practically a full card hand to hit you in the face. So
That's
you
true.
lose value eventually. With the Tome, however, we already discussed this, the whole hand filtering thing. It's like, okay, I got the Tome. Play the Tome. My three attack for this turn suddenly becomes a uh E-Strike for 7, Snapdragons, go again into a Miraging Metamorph. It just fixes or into a or you can go 1 for 3 Billowing Mirage, make an Ashwing, make the Ashwing attack into a Miraging Metamorph. It helps us keep up with the ninjas. I know the Tome is only 3 in the deck, but when you do get it, it allows you to spike your damage to the point that you're not far from the ninjas damage. Your life totals are not
Yeah,
far.
and with your tome turns, you are demanding cards from the ninja
Yeah. Yes.
because he needs to respect the damage. So yeah. So as
It's
as
better.
I have a playtest a while back, yeah, against a Fi, and Tomeltai killing the mask. Well, that's obvious. It
Yeah.
makes the game fair, not
Yes.
easier but fair.
Yes.
but more fair.
It
Yeah.
it brings us back to there was a Dromai in who talked to me and said, this was still while I was before flying off to the calling. It's like, oh, I did the whole Tome into Tomeltai combo and I broke his mask of momentum, but I still lost. And I said, yeah, and I thought we would win when we break the mask of momentum. I'm like, no, when you break the mask of momentum,
No,
you're not ending the game.
no.
You're you're putting things at an even level that you now have a chance, an equal chance of winning as much as the ninja winning. That's all you're doing. You still need to play
Yes.
really well. You still need to do smart blocking so that but no longer with the fear of mask of momentum. You no longer fear a kodachi because it's like, okay, sure, I'll take that one and take that one because you know you're not gonna trigger a mask on the third hit. But you still need to play properly for you to win against a ninja. So yeah, that the tome equalizes things a bit more, especially if you manage to pull off a uh, Tomel Tai
An
combo.
early Tomo tayo.
Yeah, an early Tomel Tai makes the game so much uh, fairer. It's much more fair. You can still lose. I had games where in the calling where I fought a Katsu and I broke his mask at turn 2. We were close. The life totals were like really close. I still lost because of variance. You know, he got his no. I made a misplay in that one because I saw him when he did bonds, I saw him discard banish a dishonor. So I decided to take the bonds damage and block the dishonor. But I didn't check which combo pieces he had played. So I didn't need to block the dishonor because it wasn't active. So that one was my misplay. I took more damage than I should have because of my fear of a of a dishonor.
Uh, hello,
Yep, there. Okay, you're
hello,
back.
Lucy.
Yes. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah,
my net spiked a bit.
this, okay, okay.
But
Bro.
yeah, so
So
basically,
yes.
yeah, all it makes it fairer. It's not an easy matchup, not in the least. It's still one of our more difficult in terms of decision making matchups, even without the mask of momentum. But at least it's no longer like a very it's no longer it's not near impossible, but it's like it with the mask of momentum, but it felt like it. So it's more fair now with the two, I think.
To sidetrack, there there is also one card in the Bright Light set that is for Dromai. And pros are saying that that card makes the Bravo matchup uh, a 70-30 in favor of our Dromai, which is the Dromai dust. The dust
Yeah,
the dust that
chromized
makes
chromatic
all.
dust. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see where they're coming from for that one. Personally, I'm not a fan or believer of the the chromai dust. Mainly because I've always found the Bravo matchup, at least for me, for the Bravos I fought locally as well as when I was in Poland, as I'd say manageable. Meaning that it's not a 70-30, it's not a sure win. It's 50-50, but it's a manageable matchup for me. I do see where they're coming from, that it tilts the favor towards the Dromai when you have it. It's because of the whole uh yeah, it's just multiple the ability to make to it's the same concept as with when people were running the Vincera Kai Dust, in where you'd be able to combo a mid to late game Mirigai into a dragon into a Vincera Kai with his dust So you'd have two dragons that are not poppable that would demand cards from the Bravo or they take damage. Uh, it's in the same concept that it's like, okay, so I can swing with a dragon, then swing with Chromai that you can't pop. I get an action point, and then I still have my Ash Wings to go. And next turn, on your turn, they have to either kill the Chromai, kill the Mirigai, otherwise it's just gonna keep going. So it buys you two turns. I can see where they're
Uh,
hello? Yeah, yeah.
hello,
So I
hello.
can see where they're coming
Uh,
from. That it does tilt it 70-30. Um I'm not putting Dust in my list yet, mainly because like I mentioned, I already feel comfortable with my Bravo matchups that it's something that I find winnable. Uh and I feel that if I the my current list feels tight, like very very tight. That to make space for a Dust, uh, just to accommodate, just to increase my chances against a Bravo match, against a Bravo by 20%, in where I'm not even sure how many more Bravos will be playing locally now that Justin has won with Azelea.
yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel worth the trade right now. We'll see, of course, in the future if more Bravos start showing up, then it's something that can be considered into the deck. But for me right now, I do not find it as a necessary sideboard for my deck, which is already very tight as it is.
Okay. Okay. One thing, can you rate the Ash?
Hello, Kyle. What was that again? Rate the
Hello, hello.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How can you in this current list of Dromai, how can you rate the Ash production of this new list?
Uh, Excellent.
Because I've
I have
been,
I don't run out of ash.
because I've been,
It's
yeah, me too,
ridiculous
me
right
too.
now. It's like
Yeah,
I mean I feel a little sad because when I started playing Dromai, that was one of the things that I was telling other Dromai players that eventually it's one of the skills you'll need to learn and master, which is proper ash management or even being able to run thin on ash that you're using just exactly the exact amount of ash that you need. Oops. Hold on. Sorry. 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 Yeah, yeah, okay, there we go. That you're using the exact amount of ash you
okay.
need and you're keeping it at like one, two, sometimes you drop to a zero ash. But now it's like that skill that I was so proud of or that I've honed and practiced just got tossed out the window. It's like ash management. Don't really need to worry about it too much so long as you're running tomes because you will keep getting ash. I mean, it's you still can't be too ash greedy because yeah, you don't always have the tomes, but with the gold, with the tomes, you have so many backup plans if you need emergency ash right now, or if you're running low on ash. It's ash production. I rate it excellent for this current tech. Uh-oh. Hang on, guys. My internet died. Hang on. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, since my internet is starting to become uncooperative, I think we just have one more topic left, which we already sort of discussed, but I guess we can just consolidate our thoughts. So, what do we think of the future of Dromai in this new post-tome meta? Do we think she's in a
Uh,
good spot? Do we think that it's justified saying that she will be, because a lot of the players are saying that she will be the top deck once Lexi LLs. So, knowing what we know so far with the tome, also taking into account Justin's win, because it has to be stated, Justin did take down a top Dromai player. Do we think that Dromai will be in one of the top three decks to be played in going into ProQuest season? We'll leave it there at ProQuest season.
In terms of player count, definitely people will be bringing more Dromais than ever.
Mm,
But
mm.
I don't think that Dromai can reach at least the top tables again like they did in the Calling Taipei. My reason being, Dromai is so hard to master, and picking up Dromai just for the sake of playing for ProQuest isn't enough to bring Dromai to the top.
Yep. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, yep, yep, yep. I mean, I'm not sure if you've heard, but uh, Sir Carlo Ople, who was supposed to play Lexi for the calling, decided last minute to shift to Dromai. He did not do very well but he did have fun. He did tell me that he had fun playing Dromai, but he also echoed what you were saying, that she is such a there are so many things you need to be able to learn and know to play Dromai properly, to bring her to bring out her full potential in a match. So yes, I do agree with your what you say, that in ProQuest we might not see her hitting the top tables, uh, simply because the increase of number of Dromai players picking her up because she has the potential to be top table is not gonna be enough to convert. There will be a it will actually we will actually have a lower conversion rate simply because there's more dromais that are not yet as well uh, versed with the hero to be able to take her to top 8.
Yeah. I've spoken with Sir Carlos regarding the deck is preferred to bring to Calling Taipei. Uh, he's been torn to bring Dromai because of the polarizing matchup of the ninjas. But I think that the driving force that made him play Dromai in the Calling Taipei is because of the high roll potential of Dromai with the
Yes.
toe.
Yes. That's actually something we didn't really talk about, but I guess we can table that and discuss more next week when we've both gotten more games and practice with the tomes. But I do see the high roll potential of Dromai with tomes is just it makes Dromai into a different beast altogether, because a tradition Dromai did
Yeah,
have high damage spike turns, but it was always just like every once in a while, like once in a game she'd have a huge spike turn and pivot the tempo off of that. But with the tomes, you just have these suddenly explosive terms, both in terms of damage from attack actions, as well as just like flooding the board with dragons. So yeah.
interject. Uh, I also see Tome as a card that can make. Uh, sorry, I'm going to interject. Uh, I also see Tome as a card that can make Dromai aggressive but also defensive at the same time. Because with the Tome, you'll be having your explosive turns while maintaining your defensive position in the match. While what I mean is you can stay put and not pivot to defensive and go into aggro style, and you can just maintain your defensive position while pressuring the board state and your life total of your opponent.
Agree. 100% agree.
So I guess Comb is that good of a card.
Yep. I mean, we both knew that it was
And
good, but after playing and watching other Dromais from
Yeah.
Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan play it, that's when it hit me like, oh god, this is such a good card.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so I guess that's about it for this episode, our very first episode of Ash Neutral. Thank you, Kyle, for joining me in discussing all things Dromai. Hopefully next week we can have Christian with us so that there'll be even more discussion because the three of us have differing points of views.
Everything might want.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe we can try to do the next. We'll try to see if we can do the next episode. Uh, Maybe if we meet up in a game, we can record the. I'll bring my laptop. We can record the episode face to face, so we don't have this internet connection issue. But it was a good start and a good try for our first episode, I think. So, any last words to the people watching?
So it's not normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Any last words? Again, said in the interview, for those who want to play competitively in any field that you want, and especially in staff, just play. And if you want to pick up drama as your main, we're here to help, even though we're not so pros yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's a growing community, and we're just here to share insights about the hero that we love,
Oh
which is drama.
yes. All hail Khaleesi.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching our first episode of the podcast. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, recommendations, or topics you would like us to discuss in future podcasts, please just comment. And of course, the obligatory, please like and subscribe. It lets us know that you care and you do want to hear what we have to say.
Yes.
Yes.
And next week, we hope that Christian is here, our third man.
Yeah. So that we can have a because the discussions between the two of us is good, but when it's the three of us, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. The back and
The
forth is
bad,
just yeah. So
the
yeah,
bad man is not
hopefully the
here.
next episode we'll do it face to face. So it's the three of us all in one location, so that it's a much livelier discussion as well as less technical issues. So again, thank you guys. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.